There are 10 personality disorders recognized in the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual that psychiatrists, psychologists, and other mental health professionals use to diagnose and treat mental disorders. The DSM organizes these 10 personality disorders into clusters, and today we're going to walk through each one. I'm going to break them down for you in a way that's easy to understand, so let's dive in. Let's start with Cluster A. This cluster is known as the odd and eccentric group. People with these disorders often seem unusual or peculiar to others. First up, we have paranoid personality disorder. Imagine living your life constantly feeling like others are out to get you. It's more than just being cautious. It's an overwhelming belief that people have hidden motives or are constantly plotting against you. Someone with paranoid personality disorder might interpret a single compliment as a form of manipulation or a neutral comment as an insult. They might say things like, "I know they're out to sabotage me," even if there's no real evidence to back it up. This pervasive distrust can make forming close relationships almost impossible, as they often feel betrayed or attacked, even by those closest to them. Next is Schizoid Personality Disorder. Picture someone who seems emotionally distant, like they're not interested in forming close relationships, and they actually prefer being alone. This isn't just about being introverted, it's about having little to no desire for social interactions at all. People with schizoid personality disorder often come across as aloof or indifferent to others. They might go through life without forming any close relationships, not because they've been hurt or are afraid, but simply because they don't feel the need for emotional closeness. For example, they might choose solitary jobs and live in seclusion, finding more comfort in activities that don't involve other people, like reading or engaging in computer programming, than in spending time with family or friends. And then we have Schizotypal Personality Disorder. Now imagine someone with really peculiar thoughts and behaviors. Maybe they believe in things like magical thinking or that they have special powers. It's not just that they're quirky, their beliefs and behaviors are so unusual that they often struggle to form relationships because others find them off-putting. For instance, someone with schizotypal personality disorder might believe they can read minds or see the future. They may dress or speak in eccentric ways that make social interactions awkward. Even though they might want to connect with others, their odd thoughts and behaviors often push people away, leaving them feeling lonely and misunderstood. Next, let's move on to Cluster B. These are the dramatic, emotional, and erratic disorders. People in this cluster often have intense, unstable emotions and unpredictable behavior. Let's start with Antisocial Personality Disorder. Think of someone who consistently disregards the rights of others. It's not just about breaking the rules, it's about a pervasive pattern of lying, deceit, and manipulation without any remorse. People with this disorder might engage in criminal behavior, like theft or assault, and not feel guilty about it at all. They often appear charming on the surface, using their charisma to manipulate others for personal gain. For example, they might con someone out of money or possessions, and if confronted, they wouldn't feel guilty, just annoyance that they were caught. This lack of empathy and remorse makes it incredibly difficult for them to maintain relationships or live within the boundaries of the law. Then there's borderline personality disorder. This disorder is all about instability, unstable moods, unstable self-image, and unstable relationships. People with borderline personality disorder often experience intense emotions, like feeling euphoric one moment and devastated the next. They might have a deep fear of abandonment, leading to frantic efforts to avoid being left alone, even if it means clinging to toxic relationships. For instance, they might text a partner non-stop, fearing that a delayed response means the relationship is over. They also tend to see things in extremes. People are either all good or all bad, with no in-between. This black and white thinking can lead to chaotic relationships where they might idolize someone one day and completely despise them the next. Borderline is a topic I've covered extensively on this channel. I'll link my other videos about this disorder down in the description box. If you're interested in borderline, I definitely recommend you check them out for a deeper dive. Next up is Histrionic Personality Disorder. Picture someone who is always the center of attention, extremely emotional, and constantly seeking approval. It's more than just being outgoing or dramatic. People with histrionic personality disorder crave attention so much that they'll go to great lengths to get it. They might dress provocatively, exaggerate their emotions, or even create drama to keep the spotlight on themselves. For example, they might tell overly dramatic stories at a party to captivate everyone's attention, or they might feign illness to gain sympathy. Their relationships are often shallow and fleeting because their need for attention can come across as insincere or manipulative. And finally, we have Narcissistic Personality Disorder. Imagine someone with an inflated sense of self-importance who craves admiration and lacks empathy for others. But it's not just about being confident. It's about believing that they are superior to everyone else and deserve special treatment. People with narcissistic personality disorder might constantly talk about their achievements, belittle others to make themselves look better, and expect constant praise and recognition. For instance, they might take credit for others' work, insist on having the best of everything, and become enraged when they don't receive the attention they believe they deserve. This sense of entitlement, coupled with the lack of empathy, can make their relationships difficult as they often prioritize their own needs above everyone else's. Lastly, let's talk about cluster C. These are the anxious and fearful disorders. People with these disorders often have pervasive feelings of anxiety and fear. First, we have Avoidant Personality Disorder. Imagine being so afraid of rejection and criticism that you avoid social situations entirely, even though you really want to connect with others. People with Avoidant Personality Disorder often feel inadequate and are hypersensitive to what others think of them. For instance, they might decline social invitations because they fear being judged or embarrassed, even if they deeply desire friendship. They might stay in a job they hate because the thought of interviewing for a new position terrifies them. This avoidance can lead to a life of isolation and missed opportunities, as their fear of negative evaluation keeps them from pursuing relationships or goals. Then there's Dependent Personality Disorder. Think of someone who can't function without the help of others. It's not just about needing support, it's about a pervasive and excessive need to be taken care of, leading to clingy and submissive behavior. People with dependent personality disorder might go to great lengths to avoid conflict, even if it means suppressing their own needs or opinions. For example, they might stay in an unhealthy relationship because they fear being alone or are convinced they can't manage on their own. They often have difficulty making decisions without excessive reassurance from others, and they might volunteer to do things they don't want to do just to maintain the support and approval of those around them. And finally, there's Obsessive-Compulsive Personality Disorder, or OCPD, not to be confused with OCD. This disorder is about perfectionism and control. People with OCPD are preoccupied with orderliness, perfection, and control to the point where it interferes with their ability to complete tasks. For example, they might spend hours organizing their desk to get it just right, and then become frustrated when they don't have time to finish their actual work. They can be rigid, stubborn, and struggle with delegating tasks to others because they believe only they can do things correctly. This need for control can make it difficult for them to relax and enjoy life, as they're always focused on maintaining order and perfection. And that's a quick rundown of every personality disorder in the DSM. These disorders are complex and can significantly impact a person's life and relationships, but understanding them is the first step toward empathy and support. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.